Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here in the north of the Netherlands. This is the first stage of the Healthy Aging Tour UCI Junior Women Nations Cup. Very exciting to be bringing these images to you because it's the first time the UCI Junior Women's Nations Cup is being live streamed. It's a very hectic race so far, and especially here out in the open, you can see that the wind is playing havoc on the peloton. Ooh, some riders are being pushed off the road here with Ilse Pluimers at the front. She rides from the district selection, and her teammates, you can see that they have the same helmets at the front as well. This is a very select group, and this is my name, so very much welcome here at the Healthy Aging Tour. Eleanor Backstedt at the front from British Cycling with the black helmet. She won the first sprint for the orange points jersey. We've got two of those sprints today and a bonification second sprint as well. We've had a crash in which some of the riders even plunged into the water, so that was kind of hectic. Team captain for the Cannibal team there on the left side of the road. Very distinguished shirt they have in the black and yellow. So this is the first group at the moment, led by the racers from Schijndel, one of the Dutch club teams here. And Ilse Pluimers very much at the front. She won one of the national races last week, so she is on great form, and that shows. Good racing so far, and this shows how hard these circumstances are at the moment. The Schijndel girls, which are one of the three teams that are dominant on the Dutch scene, together with APB and Swabo, they make this race pretty hard at the moment. APB, those are the riders in black with the black and orange helmets, and the Schijndel girls are the girls in black and red. French national team here, many national teams here from Denmark, France, Lithuania, Norway, Great Britain, USA with one of the big favorites for this race, Megan Jastrab. Sweden is here, Germany, Belarus, Belgium, Slovakia, Uzbekistan, Poland, and then a lot of club teams from Netherlands, from Belgium. So 37 teams in total in this race. 46 kilometers. That means that we are now in the third lap. We are just going into the third lap, which is a 21-kilometer lap around Musselkanaal, which you can find in the north of the Netherlands. Just, I think, 30 kilometers shy of the German border. Of course, the first time we are bringing this racing live on air. Noah de Haan from the Swabo team all the way at the back. Gloria van Mechelen is the rider in the distinguished Cannibal team 105, a Belgian rider, first year junior, because these are junior women, which means they are born in 2001 and 2002. The riders who were born in 2002, and some of them are just 16 years of age, they are eligible for the Young Riders jersey. Of course, we've got a leaders jersey, a points jersey, and a bonification sprint jersey, in which at the moment Eleanor Backstedt is leading with 3 points. Eleanor Backstedt's teammates are looking out for her. Also the Story Racing team, of course, from Dame Sarah Story and her husband, who have a junior team there with the very nice jerseys in blue, white and red. The British national team, they are here to win this race. Eleanor Backstedt, she won Gent-Wevelgem, which is the previous UCI Junior Women Nations Cup race. And of course we have to get to know these riders, and we will over the next 3 days. Rosalie van der Wolf, one of the APB riders. Schijndel is a very prominent force here. Wilma Olausson, the Swedish rider, also one of the favorites for today. And Everybody's fighting for position here. Eleanor Backstedt giving instructions to her teammate to keep her at the front, because we are going for seconds at the next crossing of the line, which is imminent. The British national team. They have two teams in this race. The British cycling junior team with Amy Monkhouse, Sophie Lewis, Eleanor King and Elena Smith. Amy Monkhouse, of course, very good in the first Nation Road Series last weekend. And they've got the national team with Ella Barnwell, Eleanor Backstedt, Amelia Sharp, I should say, and Abby Smith. Last kilometre here. It's a long straight line into the finish. And this is all that is left of our peloton. Mia Sabie is the rider with number 1, Danish rider, very good rider in the red and white with the black and white helmet. Everybody's fighting for position. I'm trying to look out for one of the riders for the USA national team, if she made the cut here, because this is what happened after the crash, just before we went live. Ilse Grit, rider for APB junior team. They won the team classification last year. They had 4 riders in the top 10, so they are one of the teams to look out for, although only Eline van Rooyen is still part of the team. The other riders are now up to the Rogelli APB under 23 development squad. Nice project there. Same goes for Swabo. We also have several teams out in the race. Lucy Gatt here at the back of the peloton for the Story Racing team. Still don't see any of the American USA cycling jerseys. That might be a big problem. And we're going to sprint for bonification seconds for the Swabo team. I think it's Maaike van der Duin. Let's see if she can outsprint. Yeah, there is Megan Jastrap. She is in this race. Yeah, there she is with the white and orange helmet for the USA cycling team. She takes 3 seconds here. She's a first-year junior. She won the Strade Bianche, and she is Trofeo Binda, I should say, and she is an amazing rider. She beats, I think, Eleanor Backstedt and Maaike van der Duin. So those are the riders who took the bonification seconds in this first sprint. Very important seconds, because this general classification usually comes down to seconds. There is Megan Jastrap on the left side of your screen. She outsprints Backstedt and Maaike van der Duin, and she is the big favorite to win this race. Might just be the rider there with the pink arm and leg warmers who just pipped Maaike van der Duin for 3rd, but we will have to wait for the official results. So after this sprint, it's time to refuel, get some water, some fluids in. This is about this was the only bonification sprint we had today. So the other seconds are at the finish line, 10, 6 and 4. So that is very, very important. Jastrap ahead of Backstedt and Maaike van der Duin. 4th place at that bonus sprint for Hanna Dobjans, Kristina Nenadovic, Maud Rijnbeek, Lea Curinier, Hanna Vasilkova, Ilse Pluimers and Akvile Gedratite in the colours for the national team of Lithuania. We can see her there with number 9. Also a very good rider, Akvile Gedratite. This is a group of about, I should say, 30-35 riders, with the big favourites still in this race. Megan Jastrap, of course, we saw her very, very powerful. If you've watched or seen the results of the Trofeo Binda, she was out on the attack quite early on in the race, caught back by the peloton and then outsprinted all of them with great force. And we have an attack here by, I should say, Maaike van der Duin. She is a rider from the region. Comes from the town of Assen, or just outside of Assen. She's been a very prominent rider on the scene from her very early career. Let's see if it is Maaike van der Duin. It is indeed Maaike van der Duin. And she gets company from the rider with number 61, Katerijn de Klerk, from the Van Assen van de Houwe development team from Belgium. Like I said, Swabo is one of the prominent teams on the Dutch junior women circuit. If you look at the tactic, Maaike van der Duin, she wants to go for that orange jersey, but she was outsprinted by Eleanor Backstedt. We've got one more of those sprints later on, the next time we cross the finish line. Another 3, 2 and 1 points. A Norwegian team on the attack. They've got 3 first-year juniors with Tuva Buberg, Nathalie Mitsveen, Anne Usland and Nora Zweit. So those are girls that are 16 or 17. Very young team from Norway. One of the German riders trying to get across there. A lot of riders trying to go on the attack, but many of these attacks are being reeled back in. And you can see by the leg and arm warmers for the German rider, it's pretty cold. It's about 6 degrees, but especially with the wind, which blows wind force 3 to 4 from the northeast, makes it pretty cold. Close to, well, maybe 2-3 degrees if you look at how the temperature feels. Look at the back of the field with one of the riders from the regional team in Drenthe, Marlies Vos. Many riders from the French national team with 5, 6 and 7. Isoline Corbineau, Léa Curigné and Amandine Fouquenet. Another attack by Maaike van der Duin. She obviously feels very, very good today. Tries to make this a really, really tough race. Swabo is a very good team with Danique Hengeveld, Leonie Bos, Noah de Haan. And Maaike van der Duin, she's just throwing some punches here, trying to make this race a little bit harder. That's probably the instructions she got. Then an attack by Ilse Pluimers. Normally riding for the APB Junior Development Team. The team founded by Paris-Roubaix winner Servas Knaven, currently the sports director at Team Sky. She rides for the regional team, but you can see by her helmet that her teammates are at the back. Ilse Pluimers, she did a fantastic race in Overijssel only last weekend. She rode away, she rode clear from the peloton about 7 kilometers from the finish line and managed to stay away. Thanks also to her teammates who did a good job in the peloton trying to make sure that other teams, other riders were not attacking. One of the riders from the regional team, Daphne Kreulen from Drenthe, with the first year juniors. Very big rider. She has been a big rider from the youth categories on, and that gave her a huge advantage when she was racing. You must know that in the Netherlands from 8 years on, the women, the girls, are always 1 year older than the boys in the same category. So you've got 11-year-old girls, 10-year-old boys racing in the same category. And if you can see girls like Daphne Kreulen, who are pretty big for their age, you can imagine that that is quite a big advantage for them. Eleanor Backstedt for Team GB. She was victorious 2 weeks ago at the Gent-Wevelgem Junior Nations Cup. It was quite a remarkable weekend for the Backstedt family because her younger sister Zoe won the race for the under-17 girls. So quite some talent there with another former Paris-Roubaix winner, of course, Magnus Backstedt, and his wife Meg. Coming from Wales, Eleanor Backstedt, you can see her here. She really wants to win this race, but it's important for her to keep an eye on Megan Jastrab as well. Maddie Wadsworth, she is a first-year junior for the Story Racing team. Comes from a cycling family. It's got two cycling sisters, Anna and Emily, and one cycling brother, Thomas, who is the Benjamin, the youngest of the family. And Maddie is doing pretty well at the moment, also very good at cyclocross, and she's at the front there for the Story Racing team. Number 123 at the back, Eline van Rooyen. She was 4th last year in the general classification, being the best young rider, the best first-year junior rider. Lucy Gatt with 103 at the back of the peloton. So we're doing this big loop, an omloop as they call it in Dutch, of 21 kilometers, and the junior riders are doing it 4 times. So the next time we get to cross the finish line will be another sprint for the orange intermediate sprint jersey. At the moment led by Backstedt with 3 points. Number 63, one of the riders for the Van Assen Van den Houwen Continental team, a development team, and that is Nele van Assen. She's also very good on the track in Belgium. Big powerful rider. And at the front another very powerful rider, Elliot King in the blue. She is, like many of the British racers, also very prominent on the track. Got some titles at the British Championship points race, and also won 4 national road series races. So she is a very good rider, Elliot King. And she rides with number 59. The British teams are doing much of the work. So they've got the British cycling junior team, and they've got the national team from Great Britain, and then of course also 4 British girls for Story Racing, and some British girls also on other teams like Anna Armstrong for the team of Westland Wil Vooruit. Jastrab, she is a first-year junior. The American team, they had some time to kill. They are usually in the south of the Netherlands in a team house in Sittard, and they had some time on their hands last weekend, so they decided to enter a Belgian junior race, a junior boys race. And well, Megan Jastrab ended up on the podium. She didn't win the race, she got 2nd or 3rd, and of course they were frowned upon coming to the start line, those USA cycling girls, but they showed how to race and showed that the boys are doing not much better than the girls, especially if your name is Jastrab. She races for the Rally Pro Cycling team and is one of the big talents in the junior women's world. Same goes for the rider with number 1, Mia Sabu. She's also a rider to watch, just like the other Danish riders with Maria Bertelsen, Mette Jensen and Mille Trulsen. Some gels here for Noah de Haan from the Swabo ladies team. Very nice project. They have a U17 team in Dutch that's called the Nieuwelingen Meisjes. They've got a junior women team who are riding here. They've got a junior development team, and they also got a UCI women's pro team. So 4 teams from Swabo, which means that basically you can grow from the U17, the 15, 16-year-olds, all the way to a UCI women's tour team, and well, even get to ride Tour of Flanders and races like that. Very nice project to give the girls a good route and some good coaching towards being a pro rider, because these riders are going up to the elite ranks. There's not an intermediate category for these junior girls. Next year, the 18-year-olds, so the girls born in 2001, they go straight through the same peloton as Anna van der Breggen, Lizzie Dijknen, Amelie Diederiksen, etc., etc. And it's not easy to do, to get to the elite ranks, going straight into the big bunch with all the big names when you're 18. It takes some time. Good speed here. You see that the riders are doing close to 40 at the moment. And to many of these riders, this is going to be the first stage race in the junior women category abroad, and it's sometimes hard. Oh, this is interesting. Are we trying to get a little bit of echelon action there? No, everybody's watching each other. But this is quite an open part of the course, so that is a possibility to try to create echelons. Number 26 in the Swedish colours is a very important rider to be watching, Wilma Olausson, and again an attack by Maaike van der Duin. She feels incredibly well today. One of the riders from the WV Schijndel are following. And then Ilse Pluimers at the front of the peloton, and Julia Borgström and Eleanor Backstead, they are looking at each other. Are we going to do something about this? So far, nobody tries to jump across. A small rider from the WV Schijndel is Silke Smulders. And with 94, one of the riders for Team Thüringen, a German team, Anna-Helena Sdoen. And they create a little gap. You can see the other riders looking at each other. And of course they have to make a decision now. That's also part of racing. Figuring out the tactics, figuring out what to do, when to conserve energy and when to attack. But 32 kilometers out from the finish line is quite a long way to go. And you can see the German rider, she is a little bit hesitant. She starts looking behind her, which is never a good sign. You can see that many of the riders are even wearing long gloves. It's not very warm, and especially when the sun disappears behind the clouds, and the wind from the northeast brings in some extra cold. It's not weird to be wearing long gloves, arm warmers, leg warmers. Of course you can put some cream on your legs to keep them warm, but hands, that doesn't work like that. Now the German rider, she's shaking her head, Anna Helene Sedun, and she is not following suit, and that means that Silke Smulders is continuing. The small rider here from the VV Schijndel, one of the dominant teams when it comes to junior women racing in the Netherlands. And they've got a very, very strong team here with Lieke Nooijen, Femke Gerritsen to look out for. Those are riders that have already shown that they are in great form. Julia van Bokhoven is the fourth rider for this team from the south of the Netherlands. Great cornering there by Silke Smulders. And the peloton is trying to get across here. Well, this young rider from the Netherlands, she is putting up a good pace here. And this is one of the more technical parts, very challenging part there at the corner. You must make sure that you stay on the road, otherwise you might lose the grip, especially if you corner that a little bit too tightly and get off the asphalt. You might just slip away. But so far so good, nobody in trouble there. 37 teams and only a peloton of, well, let's say 35 riders, which means that many riders missed the cut here. And will be out of contention also for the overall win, because last year it was down to seconds. So these bonification seconds, the first three by Megan Jestreb, will be very important. We don't have a time trial. So these bonification seconds, 3, 2 and 1 at the intermediate sprints, and 10, 6 and 4 will usually prove to be decisive in this race. So Megan Jestreb did well in sprinting to these first seconds. Same goes of course to Maaike van der Duin and Eleanor Backstedt picking up some of these seconds. Many racers will have had the assignment by their team manager to try to pick up the points there.
To the right, to the right, to the right. Yes, thank you.
Motorbike trying to pass Silke Smulders here to get a good shot of her. And this is an important part. It's out in the open. You can see that the riders are really fighting for position. Keeps very focused. This Silke Smulders, she turned 18 last week on the 1st of April. She was also part of this race last year, coming in 38th in the general classification. Her best result last year was a 6th place in the general classification of the Waterslei Ladies Challenger race in the south of the Netherlands. So she is a second-year junior. And like everywhere in the Netherlands when it comes to women's racing, there will be a fierce battle who will make the squad for firstly the European Championships and secondly the World Championships in Yorkshire in September. It's over for now for Silke Smulders, one of the riders from Norway, getting to the front, followed by Backstedt and Curigny, also finished top 10 in Trofeo Binda. Julia Borgström is the Swedish rider. Ilse Grit, the rider with the black and orange helmet for APB. Lieke Nooyen also there for the Schijndel team. Jastrap, she is trying to overlook and check what is happening there at the front. Three of the riders for the French national team who don't have that much experience racing here in the north of Holland with the wind and the small roads and the cobbles, but they are doing pretty well making this cut. Little arm flick there to make sure that the other teams are taking over. So far nobody does, which means that we're now about 7k out from the finish line in Musselkanaal. Tall rider here at the back for Team Camel, Gloria van Mechelen. Her father is Belgian, her mother is from Lithuania, which means that there's also some international riders on the team, including the rider from Lithuania, Paulina Patinskaite. Two teammates at the front, riding for different teams here. And the two riders for Schijndel. Andy Wadsworth for Story Racing, Backstedt, Borgström. Those are the riders taking turns at the front here. And this is junior racing. Whenever you got the force, whenever you feel strong, you're just right at the front. There's no waiting for now. We've seen a few attacks, and this is the first time we see Megan Jastrap at the front, apart of course from the bonus second sprint that we had at the last lap, which shows that she can hide. She understands the tactics of racing. Of course, when she trains with the women from the Rally Pro Cycling team, she learns some tips and tricks from them, and she has a great race instinct already at 16. Ella Barnwell at the back of the bunch. She is a second-year junior, and she's been part of the junior academy since she was a first-year junior. Good rider on the track as well, part of the Team GB. Team Pursuit, the rider with number 17, and she also won the Keirin at the British National Track Championships. Of course, track racing is the basis for many of the riders in the British teams, although cyclocross is becoming more popular every year. And it's a good way in the winter to get that explosive riding. Maddie Watsford, for example, is very active in cyclocross. She was one of the riders at the end of December when Helen Wyman organised the first junior women cyclocross in Loenhout. We are approaching the finish line at the moment for the last lap of 21k. Just before we went live for this historic live stream of a UCI Junior Women Nations Cup race, there was a big crash which caused that the peloton is split in 3 parts. But yeah, if you're already at the front of the race at that part of the course, you knew that you are now part of the first part of the peloton. All the big teams from the Netherlands are there. Many of the riders from the British teams are there. The Swedish rider, there we can see her, Wilma Olausson, top 5 in both the Trofeo Binda and Gent-Wevelgem at the front here. And also the biggest favourite to win the overall, Megan Jestrap, with the orange and white helmet, the Rally Pro Cycling team for Team USA. Another sprint is coming up for the orange jersey. Next time we cross the finish line, there's 3, 2 and 1 points up for grabs. Look at the back at the score of the last bonification sprint. The result there was Backstead 3 points, Oleniczak, the Polish rider, 2 points, and Jestrap 1 point. And they're trying to set up Maaike van der Duin for that classification. Let's see if Backstead is eager to get another 3 points to take that orange jersey tomorrow. So far we don't see the British rider with the black helmet at the front. Jestrap trying to fight for position. This is a lead out for Maaike van der Duin. Maaike van der Duin right through the middle. She tries to get these 3 points. Jestrap trying to get out of that. Yeah, and she does get out of there. Just pips her rival in pink on the line. Let's wait what the score is, meaning that Backstead did not get any points, and or Jestrap probably got 3 points, meaning that she gets the orange jersey. But it looks like it's the rider in pink who takes those 3 points. 2 points for Jestrap, and I think it was 1 for Maaike van der Duin. But we'll await the official results of this sprint for the orange jersey. But if my calculations are correct, it's Megan Jestrap who takes the lead in that classification, which means that she gets to wear an orange jersey, and she's used to that because she rides for the Rally Pro Cycling team, and they have an awesome orange jersey. Some of the riders are getting off course here with a lovely Swedish national team jersey with number 26, one of the big favorites for this race, Wilma Olausson. She was 4th in Gent-Wevelgem, 5th in Binda, so she is doing pretty well in that UCI Nations Cup. She's a very small rider, so it means that she probably climbs well, but also does pretty well in the sprint racing. She's proving with her result in Gent-Wevelgem. Last year she was 6th as a first-year junior. Wilma Olausson as a first-year junior. She was 6th in the general classification, being the second rider of that first-year junior group, just behind Eline van Rooyen. 19k to go, which means some last gels, probably some gels at the moment, to take in some solid food, some bars. Might be a little bit too late. It's not a very long race for the women today, but of course the racing has been full on right from the start. And we are racing over 2 hours, so you have to take in some food. Jewel Pauwman for the Restore cycling team, rider from the south of the country. She also made that first split. Looks like she might have bought one of the Boels Dolmans team bikes from last year. The specialized bikes. Normally teams sell their bikes after 1 year, and you can go to one of those sales of those teams and buy a team bike, maybe from riders like Anna van der Breggen. And it looks like Jewel Pauwman bought one of the Boels Dolmans team bikes from 2018. It's a little bit relaxed at the moment. The riders from Team GB are controlling. Beckstedt is having a little chat with her teammate. This is the winner of the Trofeo Binda, and you can see on her helmet there as well. Rally Pro Cycling also riding one of the team bikes. And they are here for an extended period of time, the USA Junior team. Like I said, staying in the south of the Netherlands. There's a team house there where the team can train. There's some hills in the south of the Netherlands, so it's a prime territory. Next week, of course, Amstel Gold race for the elite women, so you know what kind of terrain that is. And the riders from Belarus, Anna Vasilkova. Oh, some braking action going on there. It has been quite a nervous race so far, but this is time to relax just a little bit before we head towards the final of the race. One of the riders for the regional teams taking the lead now. And this is sports director Kelvin Dekker. He is the son of Erik Dekker, who won many Tour de France stages. And he is the team manager of Team APB. Last year they were very successful with the team classification. And he's trying to get some communication in with his riders. See if you can hear what he's discussing with Eline van Rooyen. And the fact that Eline van Rooyen, the number 4 of last year's general classification, has some time to discuss tactics with her team manager shows that the pace is not all that high at the moment. One of her teammates at the front trying to control, while Eline van Rooyen comes back to the front. And she's already back at the front of the race. That was fast. And she's relaying the information from the team manager to her colleagues, to Maud Rijnbeek, Ilse Grit and Rosalie van der Wolf. An attack from one of the riders from Norway. 3 first-year juniors, like I said before, with Buberg, Usland and Zweet. And 1 second-year junior, Nathalie Mitzveen. And she gets some room. Well, now one of the riders of Schijndel is trying to attack this. It's Anna Usland trying this attack here. One of the riders from Schijndel counter-attacking. She is looking behind her just a little bit too much. It doesn't show a great confidence when you're looking behind you. If you attack, which is quite far away, 15k from the finish line, I must say, you have to go full gas. You have to have a faith in yourself, like we saw yesterday with Mieke Kreuger. She had faith in herself. She didn't look back and went full gas. Julia van Bokhoven, the rider here for VV Schijndel. Backstedt at the front of the race, patrolling with her, not her teammate, but one of the riders from the junior development team with Sophie Lewis. Well, Julia van Bokhoven, she has some shelter behind the tall Norwegian rider Anna Usland. But she's taking turns as well. Albeit not too long. Some nervousness now in the peloton. They are trying to chase down Usland and van Bokhoven. Backstedt keeps riding at the front. Maybe she should have a little bit more faith in her teammates. Ella Barnwell was the rider who kept an eye out for her at the start of our live stream here. Also coming to the front, the Danish riders with Mie Sabu. This is a nice shot. One of the French riders from the regional track team is Marie Ledunf. The rider from team APB, Maud Rijnbeek. She's pretty fast herself. And the 2 riders from Bokhoven, Usland, are being reeled in like it's nothing. All the way at the front also Wilma Olausson, rider for Dolcini, is a regional rider as well, Roos Kloese. She comes from a town about, I think, 50k south from here, Emmen, famous for its zoo. I kid you not. And also the place where I'm coming from. Rosalie van der Wolf, she has a band-aid on her knee in the black and orange from Team APB. So everybody's now kind of looking at each other. One of the riders from the German team. The Thüringen team. We're now riding with a tailwind, but it's a course where the wind can be of importance. Daphne Kreulen at the right side of the peloton, and the WV Schijndel ladies taking control with Lieke Nooyen and of course Silke Smulders. She must be one of the smallest riders in this peloton, but she is pretty fast. Frederike Stern is the rider from Team Thüringen. She has a nice tiptoeing style of pedaling. She keeps the front of her foot down. She's got really, really long legs. Seems like to be like she's a very tall rider. And the way racing is at the moment, it seems to come down to a bunch sprint. And it looks like the peloton is relaxed to make it a bunch sprint today. You can see the wind is blowing, and if you've got headwind like we have at the moment, nobody is going to attack from this race. That would be absolutely crazy. Just going through that turn, one of the Danish riders putting the hammer down, one of the riders from the regional team of Drenthe, which is the province next to Groningen. The three provinces in the north of the Netherlands: Friesland, where we're going tomorrow, Drenthe, where we're not racing this year, and Groningen, where we are at the moment. 12 provinces in total in the Netherlands. Some instructions from the WV Schijndel team car. And you can see there is some nervous vibes going through the peloton. Some last minute refueling. We're going into the last 10 kilometers. The sprint for the orange jersey, the last lap was won by the German rider Lea Waldhof, ahead of Megan Jastrab, Maaike van der Duin, which means that Megan Jastrab is taking that jersey. And she will be in orange, unless, of course, she wins the race today or comes in second, which means that she gets the yellow or green jersey. Roos Kloese at the front with the blue helmet for the Dolcini team, a development team, which is who also have a UCI women's tour team, the Dolcini Van Eyck team. And they had one rider in the breakaway in Flanders with Séverine Hérault, the French rider, former world champion. Swedish national champion. The rider with number 25 is Julia Borgström. And she is with her teammate Vilma Olausson. The other riders on the Swedish team are Ida Johansson and Carolina Andersson. And traditionally Sweden has a good women's cycling scene. Olausson, of course, one of the best junior riders at the moment. Ida Johansson is normally part of the Swabo team, but she's riding for her national team here. Well, if we look at the sprint classification, we have 3 riders at 3 points, with Waldhof from team Mangertseder, the German team, Megan Jastrab and Eleanor Buckstead. And then we will have to look, if I remember correctly, who will be the best in GC. Only riders who won sprints are eligible for the orange jersey, so that's Buckstead and Waldhof. And then I think it depends on who gets the best result in GC. So, small miscalculation from my part on Jastrab. I'm sorry. Math has never been my strong suit. Some riders are moving up to the front. All the way at the back, one of the riders from Norway. She's been on the attack briefly, Anne Dorte Usland. Team APB are trying to create some extra speed here, trying to wear out the bunch. It's 81 kilometers today. It's the longest stage of the week. But everybody is pretty fresh. Silke Smulders, the rider who we have seen on the attack briefly, and she's been attacking a few times, has been awarded the jersey for most aggressive rider. She moves up to the front of the left side of the road now, so she will wear the red jersey tomorrow. And you can see at the back of the bunch, every turn kind of wears you out. It's an interval training, so it's always better to be at the front of the race to keep the same pace as the front of the race, because if you're riding at the back, every turn you need to brake or hit the brakes just briefly, and that's all energy spent before you can move back to the front. Levi Schijndel coming to the front there. It's the club team in the black and red. Several riders doing some cyclocross, trying to move up, including Eleanor Buckstead and, well, Maddie Wadsworth. Of course, she is from a cyclocross family, and she was third at the national championships as well. She's the second daughter in a family of 4. Her sister Emily has been racing last season with the Tom Pidcock racing team, cyclocross team, and this year will be part of Team On Form. Emily be quite a busy family, having 4 kids in different ages in 4 different race categories. Riders battling a headwind now in Backstead, indicating that other teams should be working as well. Well, so far nobody takes the bait. Rosalie van der Wolf and the Danish rider back to the front again. Of course, the first day of a stage race, you never know who's good and who you should be watching, but many riders are moving to the front, trying to position themselves for the upcoming bunch sprint. Just to remind you, we've had a crash just before we went live here on Podium TV and the Healthy Aging Tour website, which means that we lost many of the riders of the 37 teams. And this is the first peloton, but as far as I've seen, all the big names are here, all the big teams are here. But we will only know by the final results to see who has missed out on the decisive move. The move that came about after a crash, unfortunately. But like in any race, you need to be racing at the front of the race. That's where it's happening. But many riders were held up by that crash. Action at the front again from Team APB again. Silke Smulders trying to break away here, to break clear, to get on the attack. She's really strong today. Small but powerful rider, Silke Smulders. Rosalie van der Wolf tries to bridge across. Backstead is there. Ilse Pluimers is there. I think the Danish rider is Mie Sabu, who looks like a real giant next to Silke Smulders. You can see by the racing in the peloton that they really have to dig deep to get closer to this duo and see if it's the rider with number 1. But 4.5k out, it's still quite a long way to go. But they're really committing to this move. National team from Germany at the front at the moment. But it looks like they are creating a little bit of a gap here. But of course, at the camera, the image can always be a little bit distorted. But it looks like there's no organized chasing at the moment. Yeah, it is indeed the rider with number 1, Mie Sabu. And the rider from the VV Schijndel is Silke Smulders. There are of course some teams who need to commit to this chase. As these riders are working together, Silke Smulders, she's small, but she's taking her turns, but she can of course rest on the wheel of Mia Sabu. And that doesn't go for the Danish rider, who is well, at least 20 centimeters longer than the Dutch rider. But they're caught by the riders from Team APB, the winners of the team classification last year. 4 riders in the top 10. And one of the riders bridging across here to the leaders. And one of her teammates now riding for the district team, Ilse Pluimers, at the front of the bunch. They're really trying to commit to this attack. I think this is Ilse Grit trying to make this a hard race, and her sprinter Eline van Rooyen is in the bunch. Everybody is getting a tad nervous. Actually, Kedratite, the Lithuanian rider, in the bright yellow and green jerseys. Another attack by Bakstedt. She hasn't been away from the front of the peloton, but she's always been riding at the front, her face, her head in the wind. And we're looking out for the American rider as well. She really knows how to hide, Megan Jastrab. But that is, of course, the sign of a great rider. Do not waste energy at the front of the peloton. And we can see her helmet at the right side of the road. She's moving up now. Megan Jastrab with the Swedish champion on her wheel, Julia Borgström. Daphne Kreulen at the left side of the road. Maddie Wathworth doing some cyclocross again, right through the middle. It's one of the two of the Norwegian national team. Roos Kloese, Gloria van Mechelen is at the front. Daphne Kreulen is at the front. Many riders are trying to make up some room there where there's no cars parked. It's a great way to get to the front. Maaike van der Duin is back again. She's now just on the wheel of Maddie Wadsworth of the Story Racing team. And Ella Barnwell is trying to do a lead out. And Megan Jastrab is trying to move to the front there, trying to get on the wheel of Bakstedt. She knows that that is the place to be. It's a very nervous final so far. Everybody's trying to fight for positions going into that last kilometer. You can see that some of the riders are really suffering. We've been out on the road 80 kilometers. It looks like the British riders are working well together, which means that they do not have a team of 4, but they have a team of 8 riders to get Bakstedt into position. The long rider from Team Drenthe is Daphne Kreulen. And this is surfing wheels, this is trying to make up some room, but this is not the place where you're going to win the race. That is the finish line, and we can see a sprint happening with Eline van Rooyen for Team APB, Daphne Kreulen for the national team. And we're waiting for the finish cam. We can see that Megan Jastrab is there, Eleanor Bakstedt is there. And, well, the motorbike is not allowed to ride at the front. So we're waiting for the cameras from the finish line. And there we are, right through the middle. It's one of the riders for Team GB at the right side of the road. It's Megan Jastrab. She goes to the middle of the road and nobody can follow the American rider, just like we expected today. Megan Jastrab is so incredibly powerful and she wins the race ahead of one of the Polish riders, and I think Eleanor Bakstedt came in third. Eline van Rooyen top 5, also Wilma Olausson top 5, which means that Megan Jastrab takes the win here, just like she did in Trofeo Binder. and she shows her rivals that she is the woman to watch this weekend in the Healthy Aging Tour. Megan Jestrap from Team USA wins the race. She's only 17, turned 17 in January. She won Alfredo Binda and she was second in Gent-Wevelgem. Her colleagues are congratulating her. Big hugs from one of the Polish riders, Natalia Kreślak. This is nice. This is a nice atmosphere in on the team. And this is the professional result of this first stage. Megan Jestrap wins ahead of Eleanor Buckstead. You can see the sprint again. The American rider right through the middle, the British rider with the black helmet, and also the Swedish rider. The Polish rider is Nikola Bieliowska, and she comes in third. But there's no doubt about the winner. Her name is Jestrap. So first Jestrap, second Backstedt, third Bielowska. Olason is fourth, Kreślak fifth, Julia Borgström is sixth, Ilse Grit is seventh, Marie Leduinf from the French national team is eighth, Hanna Vasilkova and Akvile Gedratite. 11th place for Berit Huyting, 12th Noah de Haan, 13th Maaike van der Duin, 14th Eline van Rooyen and 15th place for Anna-Helena Tsedoen from the German team. So great work by the USA cycling team. She didn't have any teammates to help her, but she is awfully strong herself and didn't need any lead out. She's shown in previous races that she is the woman to watch, and remember, she's only a first-year junior, turned 17 in January. And we're waiting for the interview with our American winner. Which means that she also takes the points jersey.
Megan, great job.
Thank you.
You tried to brake, you tried to sprint, but you have the victory. Was that the big goal for today?
Yeah, we didn't know how the conditions were being with the wind, so we had a strong team, but I know we all got caught behind the main crash on like lap 2. I know I was the only one who made it back on after that because we were all chasing. So it was kind of like be patient and make sure I didn't blow my energy and let any dangerous brake go up the road because I didn't have any help. So it was kind of more just like saving my energy, and then I wanted to get the sprint jersey just to, so if we lose GC by something like maybe a crash or something like that, we still have something to challenge for. So I got that and then the sprint.
You won the first stage. The big goal is to win the overall.
I don't know. Stage wins are fun. The GC there's still a lot of racing to go, but it's nice to start off on the front foot.
How was it racing here in Groningen?
Oh, it's great. It's completely different from the US. The wind, small roads, you can pass in the grass, like we don't have that. So it was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good luck, see you tomorrow.
A very, very, very remarkable young lady, Megan Jestrap. And what a track record for her in the UCI Junior Women Nations Cup. 2 wins and 1 second place. So that's today. She is going to be the woman in yellow. And she said in an interview that she was conserving energy, that she didn't have any teammates on in the first group because of the crash. And she raced tactically very smart, staying out of trouble and being there at the front of the bunch when it matters, taking bonification seconds and also taking the win, of course. There's still a lot of racing to go, like the American said, and the second stage will be live on Podium TV and the live stream Healthy Aging Tour at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. So be sure that you're back watching this incredible peloton of future stars. Thank you very much for watching this afternoon. So in about 2 hours' time, at 2:30, we're going to the third stage in the Healthy Aging Tour for elite women. And then I'll be back with Adrie Visser and I'll be continuing the commentary in Dutch. Thank you very much for watching. See you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central European Time from the Healthy Aging Tour.
Losing all my innocence, yeah, body on my, lying on my innocence, yeah, body on my.